Keith, my man, thank you so much for coming on the Winners Paradigm podcast, brother. It's been an honor following you for a little bit and really talking to you. And that's what I love about you, brother, is you're a straight shooter, amazing fucking dude, and you really care about your people. So it's awesome being around like-minded individuals that really have that bigger vision and they care about people and they ask, hey, man, how's your family? No, for real, how is your family doing? Not just some BS. So first, I just want to say I appreciate you, brother. Second, would you mind giving us a brief intro, who you are, what you're passionate about today, brother?
Yes, sir. Good morning. Good morning. My name is Keith Tankersley. My handle is Tankersley_fit. Basically, I'm a professional development and life coach. I provide success through a set of daily core principles and habits that include fitness, mindset, and nutrition. Implementing these daily habits that I provide is going to give you a whole new approach to life in every aspect. And we're going to destroy that self-sabotaging behaviors and confidence that kill success. That's basically what I'm passionate about and what I'm doing right now.
Hell yeah, brother. And let's start about that. You talked about self sabotage, talked about destroying all those negative behaviors. Can we start at that for you, brother? What was it like when you got that cleared up in your life and then you started living in alignment with a man that you admire?
Yeah. So alcohol was the killer of my success. If we want to get into a brief story about where I started, I grew up in Stockton and Lodi, California. My parents were divorced when I was about 12, 13 years old. And that's when I fell in love with alcohol. About 13 years old, actually, is when I had my first drink. And it was on from there. I was drinking it throughout my high school years. And then I came into my 20s and it really took hold of me. I started drinking that bottle, getting attached to that bottle, and it changed my life. Life started getting crazy. I started going to jail. Started started really just backpedaling in my life, man. Um, sorry, what were we touching on? Sorry, bro.
That was exactly it. I was talking about when it started for you and then what made the change. So that's the second part is, what made you get sober from drinking so much alcohol?
Yeah, I'm only six months sober coming up here pretty
Hell yeah.
soon. Yeah, no, it's absolutely changed my life, man. I just had another stint I just did in jail. I lost my house, my family about 6 months ago, and I moved quick, man. I got everything back fast because I've always been dedicated. I've always been a hard worker, and I've always stayed in touch with my work and always kept that right. But I got into meetings straight out of jail. I fucking made a decision. Say I'm not living my life like this anymore. Made apologies to my family, and I meant it this time, because I'm 40 years old and I'm tired of living that fake ass life, man. As a drunk. So I'm dedicated to change now, and I'm using the internet as an accountability tool with all you guys. This is my accountability. So by checking in every day, I'm saying, hey, check it out, motherfucker. I'm not drinking anymore. I'm hitting the gym every day. I'm accountable to you guys, and I'm showing up every day. And it's changing my life. My whole family's starting to check in on me and love me. And I can just tell the respect has changed in every way, every shape, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about because you used to drink pretty hard yourself, right?
Yeah, brother. And bro, that's the hardest thing. So one, I commend you for doing it. Two, that's the hardest thing, is changing the perspective of what they view you as. And that used to frustrate the fuck out of me.
Yeah.
I was in a call last night with some guys and they were talking about anger, not letting it get the best of us. And I was like, bro, when I stopped drinking, I was so fucking pissed all the time. Because people would come to me with bullshit, or it's just the way that they see problems. And we don't realize that, especially when we're drinking, we suppress everything. It's shut the fuck up, keep moving. And that was my mentality because I'm like, oh, I'm a Marine, I provide results, da 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 da. But when I was looking at it, it was like, how the fuck was I solving problems if I'm just like, shut up, bitch, keep going, let me keep drinking, let me keep doing my thing, and then running it. And then two, it was the narrative I played for myself. I didn't say I have a problem with I'm going to stop drinking, I'm going to stop drinking, because my dad always said that and never stopped drinking. My mom would justify it as, oh, I can have one or two a day, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, no, you fucking can't. So for me, it was always like, oh, if I do this, then I can drink. If I do this and work hard and get all my work done, because I was my own boss at 19 in the Marine Corps, then I can drink. And then when I looked at that flawed system, I was like, bro, what the fuck am I doing? I'm justifying drinking a gallon of whiskey, being shit faced, making a fool of myself, and then getting back to that point where I was like, I don't want to do this. So I love the way you said that, bro, because if you're trapped in that cycle, you don't understand it. And until you do that, and the funny thing is, you talked about it, holding yourself accountable online. I have a client like that, and the client was upset. I fucking hate social media. It has this negative connotation towards social media. And I'm like, bro, if you think about it negatively, that's going to be it. Well, I don't want to be a liar. And I'm like, use that to your advantage. Go on social media, say something. I was like, bro, I did a 10-day fast that way. And literally what got me through the 10-day fast wasn't the fact of not eating. It was the fact of somebody calling me a bitch on social media and me being pissed off over it and wanting to go to war with them because they called me that. So that was in my head. It was like, don't be a bitch. You said you're going to do something. Now commit to it and do it. And that's one thing I love about you. So I just want to say that, dude. That's fucking awesome that you put that commitment out there to the world and then you continually live into that every day, brother.
Yeah, like just like Wes says, we gotta take this shit as a challenge. And
Yeah.
I'm always up for a challenge. So that's how I have to look at it in order for me to stay sober, because it's been a struggle, man. It's
Fuck
been a
yeah.
real struggle because I'm 40 years old, man. I've tried to quit multiple times throughout my life, and I finally said that it's enough, man. I do the serenity prayer every day. God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. So I live by that and say that prayer every day, and it helps me move forward, man. And like I said earlier, man, the way that my kids look at me now is just changed my whole outlook, where I'm like, wow, I can't believe I missed all these years living that fake ass life. So
You know what? You said it a couple times, brother. Living the fake ass life, and that's what people don't understand. And the other day, I was thinking about that because I was talking to my wife, and we're telling old stories, and I'm talking about the bullshit. And it's funny that you said the fake ass life because uh, that's what it was for me. It was living that fake ass life. I had to put the blinders on because we were talking about drinking at a young age. I did the same shit. So my parents, I had to be, the most squared away motherfucker to the T. But when I'd get that room, bro, trust me, I'd get faded. You know what I mean? The motherfuckers wouldn't know. I'd be blacked out drunk. Like I would be all over the place because I had to keep it one certain way all the time. So it was funny because I was talking to my wife and she's like, I really don't believe you're that hard. I really don't believe you're going through that much shit. And I'm like, bro, you'd be amazed at how clean you can keep yourself or how good you can look around other people and be the opposite of that. And I was like, for me, I watched my dad do it. I watched my mom do it. So I learned exactly what to fucking do and how to get away with shit. But it didn't get me anywhere. It didn't get me to being better in life. It got me to be average, the same as everybody else, being fucking pissed off, not respecting myself when I look in the mirror. So that was something for me. And that's why I said earlier, I bet you can attest to it, was like, it was fucking hard originally when you were changing and they didn't see the results right away because they were like, bro, what the fuck is that? And then now they're coming up to you asking you about fucking fitness advice, nutritional advice. How do I do this and stay consistent? And you're laughing because you're like, bro, at one point in time, I didn't even fucking think that this would ever be the narrative.
And that's another thing when it comes to fitness. I think fitness is the reason I was able to drink so long, because I've always been hardcore into fitness. It's just something I've always related to being as a man. A man's fit, you know what I'm saying? A man's in shape. And because I grew up framing, building houses, and doing a lot of physical shit, man. And I was always just around a bunch of rough cats. And fitness kept me aligned with, like, I always ate pretty healthy, but on the weekends I'd turn around and drink real hard, and backpedal and end up in jail, and like I said, all those things. But yeah, fitness is something I've been always really into, and then since COVID I really got into it and started doing all my meals right, 7 days a week, usually sometimes 6 days a week. So where you at on your fitness?
Yeah, brother, I'm at that same. I'm at this last 2% body fat, and it's fucking frustrating as fuck right now because I haven't drank in almost a year and a half. So drinking went out the
Congratulations,
window.
brother.
Thank you, brother.
Congratulations.
My problem was is I'd get drunk and then I'd get fat. I would start fucking wanting to get 2 Big Macs, 3 Big Macs, fucking chorizo burritos, just like all the work that I put in prior, like out the fucking window. So that was why I would gain so much weight. But two, I would drink a fucking gallon of whiskey mixed with a 2-liter or
Damn.
whatever, because I'd be mixing that fucking Jameson and just be faded. And then if
Yeah.
not, if I wasn't drinking that heavy, I'd be fighting. So it would be, I got married to get out the barracks, but I kept running into situations because they were like, you're a leader. So I'll just be in my room. Like, and this would be the shit where I'm like, oh, I'm not going to get in trouble. You hype yourself up. I'm not going to get in trouble today. I'm not going to do anything. And then I get a pound on my door. I'm like, who the fuck's banging at my door like the police? And I go out there and they're like, some motherfucker tries to kill somebody. He's trying to fucking knock somebody out. Then I got to go de-escalate the situation because they're like, you're a leader. This is what you do. And in my head, I'm still faded, so I'm even more pissed because I'm like, now they fucked with what I'm doing, whatever, So I was getting bad situations. And then it was just funny, once I stopped drinking, I cleaned up the eating because that was my thing. Like I said, food was my leeway. That was where I would always make excuses, whatever. So it's been funny now that I'm at this last 2% body fat. And two, I know you can attest to this too, brother, is the limiting beliefs we have, especially with our body, with what we were saying. You've been working out for a long fucking time. I've been the same way, ever since I was like 13 when I started drinking, was lifting like crazy. And the problem was my nutrition wasn't there. I didn't have the education back then. Now that I think about it, I wasn't that fucking smart, as smart as I think I was, because I didn't know how to use Google.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I can relate.
Yeah, bro, I didn't have a laptop, but I could have Googled shit on my phone. I just didn't think about it, honestly. So it was processing that, but it was funny because when I was thinking about shit, I was like, bro, what the fuck was I doing back then? And that was the thing, was eating like shit would lead to drinking. And then it's the same thing, kind of like Wes says as well, the way you do one thing is the way you do everything. So it was seeping into other areas of life. And when I cleaned that up, when I became more consistent, and that's why I said like this last 2% body fat's been a bitch, because I'm looking more yoked and I'm adding size, but this gut's not going away. And that's where the limiting beliefs came in. Was talking to my dad the other day, and he's like, oh, I can't do it. The only way I can do it is if I take 2 protein shakes a day. I starve myself if I do fasting. And I'm like, that's not the way you get started. Like, I know I am a short, stocky guy. And I was like, it's fucking frustrating because every single time I walked with the coach, I went into the doctor, they're like, you're only 5'8". I'm like, I can't be fucking lean. Like, my body's completely different, And again, it goes with knowing your body, knowing what you have to do. And that's what it was for me, especially now coaching and teaching people. It was funny because like people will give me that same story. And I'm like, bro, I get it. You can have whatever build you want. You can still cater to that and that. Before, I was killing myself. And that's why I say the justification of drinking, running 10 miles, 16 miles a day. And that's why I was shredded, because I was doing so fucking much. And then I get all these injuries and I can't do them. And now I'm like, oh, well, now I'm fat because of this reason. And the real fact of the matter is like, you're not taking time to hit those macros. You're not taking time to not drink that fucking soda, whatever it is, And in my case, like, I didn't do those things. And that's why, I wasn't losing the fucking weight. That's why I wasn't shredded anymore. And I really would just blame it on everything else. Like we all do when we start drinking.
Straight up, man. Yeah, my diet, I eat a lot of fish, man. I train with some pro dudes, and they say it like this: when you're trying to lean out, they say chicken, steak, and fish. But they say if you take a piece of steak and you rub it between your fingers, and you take a piece of chicken, rub it between your fingers, and you take a piece of fish and rub it between your fingers, which one dissolves faster? And the fish does, obviously, and especially white fish. And when you do whitefish, and it has the same protein, it has real high protein content, so it just goes right through you. So you can get 5, 6, 7 meals in a day, stay lean, and get all your protein at the same time. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's fire advice, brother. And that's what I've been getting into lately. Is we're going back to fish, but cauliflower rice, for instance. Cauliflower rice instead of regular rice. I upped my carbs, and that was a thing too, because before. So I would have been shredded, and then it was funny is my dumbass always liking to push that bar, and just keep going. And I want to go to the brink of insanity all the fucking time just to do it. So that's where like I was doing it, was I was cutting 100 grams of carbs, 0 fats. I'm fucking dying, but I liked it. I was like, this shit feels fucking crazy. I barely have energy. I'm still getting these good lifts in. And then I did the 10-day fast. Then I said, oh, I'm going to eat properly, but I didn't give myself, well, I know you can slowly eat after a fast. You can do fruit, and then you wait 48 hours, you can do carbs. But I didn't want to fucking do that. So I just start eating normal, blowing up again. And then fucking my lifts were shit going in the gym. Was like I completely was at ground zero. So that's why I was like, I'm done with the fasting. But it was funny as fuck because that made me realize, hey, this is what you have to do. So then I up my carbs to 200 grams and I start focusing more on what I'm eating, cater more to the macros again. And then all of a
Yeah.
sudden I'm getting stronger and then I'm gaining muscle mass and not losing the fat. And then I
Yeah.
start fucking looking at it and I'm like, hey, you have to change what you're doing in order to get a different result. And that was something for me, is prior to that, or even, fuck, dude. Damn, it really was 4 years ago now. So 4 years ago, my wife went to the Navy, and when she first went to the Navy, it was funny because someone was like, "Do you have a plan? How are you going to make your meals? You're busy. You're doing all this." Back then, it was active duty, still working 18-hour days, fucking going to college after, and they're like, "What are you going to do?" And my ass for 6 months was like, "I'm going to eat chicken, broccoli, rice,
Right.
fucking tilapia for dinner, salmon for
Yeah.
dinner,
Yeah.
ground turkey and vegetables in the morning as the meat." And it was funny
Yeah.
because, and that's why I teach it too, it's not sustainable, So I did it for 6 months. I got shredded within the 6 months. And then what did I do? I blew up again because I was eating and drinking to where, hey, that's not going to work for you. So now it's something and you said it, eat a lot of fish, have that in your diet. The one thing for me is like egg whites. I know every single morning, get this low cal protein toast, eat
Me
2
too, brother.
slices, egg
Yeah.
whites,
Yeah.
and it hits the macros. It gets me exactly where I need to be. 68 grams of fucking rice, easy fucking day, and that's the thing
Yeah.
is you got to break shit down to be easy for you, especially how you said, brother, where you're all over the place sometimes, you're working, you have a lot of shit to do, you
Always.
work one graveyard shift, you have to make things easy for you so you don't get in the habit of fucking up like we used to.
Right. Yeah. I don't. You're probably a lot younger than me, but my problem is also is my testosterone levels. I got to make sure my sleep's right. At this age,
Good one.
because if you don't have your test, it's a building block. Of muscle mass, and it's real hard. It's real hard to get my test levels up if I'm not sleeping right. That's one thing I notice big time.
No, that definitely is, and that actually I got my test levels done last year, and they pissed me the fuck off because I was in
Yeah.
the 300s, and they're like, "What? How old are you?" I was 25, and then they're like, "You're 25," and da 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 da, and like start really going through it because I fucked up my whole body when I was in the Marine Corps, and like I knew, but two, shit, I'm talking fucking loud. Two, the second factor of that is I may have an autoimmune condition. Going back into the doctor for fibromyalgia, but I didn't know what it was. So, taking it back to last year, what happened was I got my labs done because basically what I feel back then was 3 good weeks a month and then 2 weeks of pure dog shit. So it's just
Yeah.
that 3 weeks I'm fucking fantastic, you know what I mean? And another
Yeah.
2 weeks I'm like, I don't want to fucking be here. I feel like shit. My elbows are aching. I don't want to lift these fucking 90s, whatever, and it feels like I'm reverting back to the progress. And it was hard to start getting bigger because I would just keep dealing with it with my bodies. One day I'm good, one day I'm not. Supplement it with machines, but there's only so much you can do. So I got all
Yeah.
my labs done. They kept telling me, "Oh, you may have cancer." I'm like, "Fuck you guys, I don't have shit." And then I get my TRT lab, go to TRT clinic, get the labs in. They're like, "Oh, you need to be on TRT for the rest of your life," and like that really fucked with me. Like it sat with me
Yeah.
for a minute. And I'm like, no, I'm not about to get on this shit right now. Like, that's not what I'm going to do. They're like, oh, is that your plan? I'm like, yeah, eventually I'm going to be on it. But two, I'm not trying to be on it that young, so I'm going to do what I can do for my body. So really, after that, fuck, that was like in July, because in July I was working fucking hard and I just wasn't losing the weight, And I'm like, why is it taking me forever? Where it used to just take me 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks to get shredded. Now this is something where it's been a while. I've cut
Yeah.
the carbs, insulin stayed low so I don't spike it. What the fuck's going on? So
Yeah.
I got my labs in. And then really till recently, I started going harder, of course, got smarter with what I'm doing. Weight started coming off slowly. I talked to a couple people and they're like, oh yeah, fibromyalgia. My body's always in pain. I get really bad aching because of my joints, which I have osteoarthritis in my elbows, knees, shoulders, hips. So that explains why I'm aching so much. But in the mornings I start throwing up or whatever. So that's why I'm like, hey, if I'm throwing up so much, I got to fucking eat more. And then I run into an issue. So it was funny because literally that mindset initially, especially when I went to that TRT clinic, had me in that negative frequency. I was like, fuck this,
Yeah.
I'm upset versus just dissecting it. I mean, like, how do I show up better within this current time?
So you have experience with it? You've tried it or no?
No, no, not yet, not
No.
yet. So
Me neither, man. Me neither. But I'm right on the edge of doing it just because I wanna try to get my tests up. Because like you said, man, it builds muscle. And I'm having a harder time at this age. Building muscle. It doesn't matter how much what my carbs are. I'm having a harder time putting on size. 'Cause that's
see,
just
my body type, my body type, it's easy for me to build muscle, but it's hard as fuck to lose weight. And that's what I'm
yeah,
realizing now. It's like when I was younger, it was easy. And I didn't think about how fucking easy it was. But now it sucks because, like, even yesterday, last night, I wasn't able to get it in the morning. When at night, 110-pound dumbbells I picked up, fine. Well, to my standard, it wasn't good. Anybody else, I'm like, oh, that's all right. To me, I'm like, it's not clean, doesn't count. So it
yeah,
was funny because it's like I'm still able to put up weight even though I'm on a cut, and I'm eating a shit ton even though I'm on a cut, and it's still within the 2,100 calories in the
right,
macros.
right,
But
yeah,
it's funny because it's like it's a different way of training for me. And then that's why I said, it's frustrating because I'm adding muscle mass. I look bigger, but the number on the scale hasn't gone down. Or
yeah,
you look at it, it's like you added lean muscle, but then the fat's not coming off right away. So
right,
that's something too, where it's like, especially teaching that. And that's where one of the things I stress with my clients, is build that foundation, show up, do that every single day, have that one or two meals that are your go-to meals so you don't have to fucking think about it, and then go about
yeah,
your day, and that's the fact
yeah,
is, you said, is if you can do that, that's where the weight loss starts happening. That's where the life starts changing, is you don't
yeah.
have to think subconsciously about all this shit anymore.
Yeah, I don't even listen to any trainers that don't have fucking abs, bro. Because that means they don't know how to work out right and they don't know how to diet right. That's just the facts. Because to get
Mm.
abs for most of us, even for me, to really, really get a six pack hardcore, it took real dieting and it took real workouts. You know what I'm saying? Real ab workouts, real dieting. And then once you get them, then you could back off a little bit on the real hard cut diet. Because once you have them, it's easier to keep them, right? You know how it is.
100%, and that was it for me. That was it for me. Is I didn't have I had the discipline back then, but I just wanted to do whatever the fuck I wanted.
Right.
Um,
I've been there.
so yeah. So now that I'm not there, honestly, it feels good. Like I literally thought about that. I'd say the icing on the fucking cake, and I bet you can attest to it, brother. When it came to fucking New Year's, December 22, me and my wife were gonna split up. So December 31st, 2022, I was walking. I walked like 6 miles that night. Went to the gym. The fucking gym's locked, doesn't open till 6, so I fucking flip out. And then I'm like, well, I gotta walk back home. So go walk back home in the rain, by the way. And then this year I was able to be in the gym at that time because I switched to a different gym. So really I was in the gym, bro, and it just hit me like watching, because I did it intentional to be in the gym at 2 in the morning, going hard as fuck, and then looking at everybody's stories. And I
Yeah.
just really looked at it and I was like, I'm fucking grateful for being in the gym, for changing my life around. But more importantly, is it's not being like everybody else. And that's the fact is a lot of people like, oh, they can justify it. They can say whatever they want about life. And you're like, yeah, you absolutely can. You can say whatever the fuck you want about drinking. But the fact is, you're not where you want to be. Because if you ask that question to people, they're going to hesitate. And nobody's going to say, yeah, I am where I want to be. And they're doing all the things. And if they are, you need to check them out. Because if they're
Right.
drinking that much and they're doing all this shit, there's something else
Yeah.
going on. And that's
Yeah.
where, for me, it was just really taking that time, that step back and understanding that was, hey, things change. So appreciate that current moment. And that's one of the things you say as well, with being a present father, showing up. What has that been like for you and your family? You mentioned it a little bit, and it's something that you didn't even think was possible. What is it like now with you being fully present, being a better father?
Oh, it's great, man. My relationships with my kids have totally changed, man. Especially because my oldest daughter, I had her when I was 30, and I was probably blacked out every weekend for the first 5 years of her life. So that's all she remembered is her dad being fucked off all the time. And now it's just she's like a little lady, she's 11 and a half. So
Oh, yeah, brother.
yeah, it's just a totally different relationship, man. I could see the respect change on her face. I'm able to pick her up from school all the time, and she's happy to see me. And my son too. I'm take my son dirt bike riding all the time. My son sees me working out, so he's starting to try to work out. He's out there trying to do burpees. He wants to eat right, You know what I'm saying? And my little daughter, she loves me to death just because I'm there all the time, and I can give a more authentic love when I'm not in that cloudy haze, man. I think you can attest to what I'm talking about. It takes a few months to really reflect and see things clearly when you've been drinking for so many years, man. It's
Fuck yeah.
just it totally changes your chemistry and everything. Everything's changed. My marriage, everything. My wife still can't even get over it. She still looks at me like, "Who the fuck are you?" You know what I'm saying? Because I don't react the same way to things that used to just make me react and trigger it. Because I'm a different person now. And also, another thing is I also my marriage. I look at my marriage like certain things that were very dysfunctional in her that need to change as well because I'm not drunk and I don't just let it go anymore. I'm like, hey, you need to change that behavior. I'm leveling up. I know it's gonna take a while for you to understand that I'm actually doing this, but you're gonna have to ride with me. You know what I'm saying? We can't be arguing about this dumbass stuff that we used to because we're changing. I'm changing. I'm going to this place. You're either coming with me or you're not. You know what I'm saying? Because
Mm.
I'm not gonna engage in that dysfunctional bullshit anymore because I'm 40, bro. I can't do it no more. I got to set an example for my kids, man, and show them that parents don't act like that. They don't act like that with that dysfunctional bullshit. They're not. That's not how grown ass folks are supposed to act, man. And in order for them to understand it, I gotta do it. You know, there's nothing. There's no better way to teach them than to just to run it. You know, just to do it. I see dad working out. I see dad not drinking. I see dad being respectful to mom. You know, I see dad not reacting. I see dad being smooth all the time, regardless of the situation. Whatever comes against him, he rides. He's smooth. You know, that's who I want to be because that's who I respect. So I don't really. That's all I can say about that, man.
Easy fucking day, brother. And I love that so much because that was it to me. Is when I started putting the work in, and I talked about a little bit is like the wife didn't believe it initially. That was one of the things that drove me nuts was like, how do you do that? And I run into issues, with family. They're like, oh, let's watch movies all day. Let's do this or that. I'm like, no, fucker, let's go to the fucking gym first so you could earn that. And they're looking at me like, what? And I'm like, even
Right.
to this day, brother, like it's still incomprehensible to me to not go to the gym. Like for someone to say, "Oh, I don't go to the gym, I'm gonna start," I'm like, "How the fuck do you not go to the gym?" It's just something that's been wired in me, and it's important. And then, too, you mentioned the survival as a man. That's something I believe in, especially people I roll with. It's like, hey, if some shit pops off, I got you, you got me, you got my
Yeah.
family, I got your family. Then that's all we have to worry about. But people don't understand that, and you're from Stockton as well, so you get it. Especially with
Yeah.
uh, keeping your family protected and so forth. Is like you can't be. And that was one of the things for me as well, bringing up that point is being drunk all the time or being faded all the time. I would start fucking tripping even more. And especially you see somebody, you're watching situations, I'll be in this paranoid state versus now it's like, fuck it. I'm going to smile. I'm going to be me. I'm going to show up. Motherfuckers still want
Yeah.
to trip. We handle business, but it's like, I don't need to lose myself just because I'm on some shit and I'm feeling completely different. And that was one of the things for me is like I used to just lose my shit all the time, whatever. And then when I stopped drinking, I was like, hey, you need to do this, you need to do this. My wife's like, you're controlling, it's this or that. I'm like, no, this is just negative fucking behavior we need out of our lives, negative people we need out of our lives. But until I did that and I was consistent about it, and life didn't change, So that was something funny that you mentioned that I went through as well, where it was just like immediately after I stopped drinking, I was like, bro, we can't be around fucking anybody because that's all everybody wants to do. And like I
Yeah.
say all the time, I was that guy that walked in the room, what's up, motherfuckers? You ready to drink?
Yeah.
And then just start
Yeah.
being aggressive. Oh, you're being a bitch. That's 4 shots. Yeah, you better fucking drink that shit and then do it
Yeah.
with me. And it was just like,
Yeah.
bro, I was getting everybody faded all the fucking time. Like I was just that guy. You know what I mean? So especially when I
Yeah.
stopped drinking, so fucking hard because everybody's seen me as that guy. And I'm like, dude, I'm not that guy anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. It's funny too, because you inspire people around you, because I got endless amounts of drinking buddies I have, that I ride Harleys with and go snowboard with. Sky. I did everything drunk, bro. Everything, every activity. I was all gas, no brakes, like you said. I'd take shots and ride my Harley, anything. But so I noticed in these last few months, people that I used to drink with hard they're not drinking. I'm like, what's going on, man? You know, I'll run into him or something. I'm like, you're not drinking like you usually are. He's like, I've been watching your videos, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, good. You know, it's crazy, you know, because people aren't dumb. They know where they're falling short. Their conscience is screaming at them just the same as you know. And
Oh,
so when they see a drunk, raging alcoholic like yourself put it down, they're like, well, shit, if he can do it, you know, I could do it too, you know. So you're inspiring people without even knowing a lot of times, you know. It's a beautiful thing.
boom. Yeah, brother. My mother-in-law is the one that taught me that, and I didn't realize that. And this is gonna sound fucking terrible. Now that I say it so much, it doesn't sound fucking good. But bro, that was my drinking buddy. Like anytime it'd be a family function, my wife went to boot camp, fucking 4 AMFs together. Like we were just getting baited all the time. And that was why she liked me. Is we would just drink so much. And then
Right.
she started telling me, hey, did you get a workout in today? Did you go to the gym today? Hey, did you work out? And like every single time I see that, oh, what did you eat today? And like ask me about nutrition or she she works like in the nutritional health space, but for hospitals. So I was weighing out my food, and she was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" And I was like, "Oh, I'm seeing how many grams. I want to know exactly how much I'm eating." Blah blah blah. You know, start telling her about weighing your food out, and it was cool because she
Yeah.
took the time to ask that question and then listen behind it. Before, ain't nobody gave a fuck, dude. They'd just be like, "Ah,
No.
whatever," you know. So
Yeah.
that was something that meant a lot to me because normally, like, especially when I stopped drinking, I was like, I do not want to go around my mother-in-law. All me and her do is drink. It's very fucking awkward. And yeah, you know, there was that time, there was that space. Now we're cool as fuck again because she asked those questions. She actually cares. She's doing the same in her life. You know, cut back on the drinking. So it's something funny where it's like I didn't realize that influence we had. You know, and I'll wrap it up here, brother. Is one thing I ask everybody who comes on the show: what would you say to the previous version of ourselves? We're just getting started. We don't know where to start. We just want to align ourselves with our definition of success.
Start earlier, damn it. No. What would I say to my previous self? I say I'd
Yes,
tell him,
sir.
I you know I almost cry thinking about my kids. You know what I've put them through. So I'd say they don't my kids don't deserve. You know, my kids don't deserve to see like I said, a fake man. You know, an example like you used to be. That my kids don't deserve that kind of an example. You know, because that was the real kicker for me is looking at my kids. I could see in their eyes they didn't respect my get down, and that hurt me to the core. You know what I'm saying? So
100%.
so that's what really hit me. You know, um, I don't know. I guess that's where I'm at with that.
No, 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 bro. I see the same thing. Like when I thought about my wife gonna leave me and how everything was, I was like, that conversation's gonna suck one day when I sit my son down, and either he's gonna be upset at me or he's gonna be like, "Why did you fuck up?" You know, and then I'm gonna
Yeah.
talk about it. And that's when it hit me was thinking about that. Hey, how am I going to
Yeah.
talk to my son or daughter? How are they going to see me? What are they going to see me as? Am I going to be the same bullshit story like my dad is, where, hey, son, well, it was very hard growing up and everybody was drinking around me and I just couldn't break the cycle. And literally, I'm glad that, you know, I was listening to Wes Watson at that time too, because when he was talking about just being controlled by a substance and that's a bitch mentality to have, being stupid about it, that's what I thought about. You know, I'm like, bro, that's so
Mm,
fucking stupid. Like, I'm gonna sit there talking about generational pain and then be in front of my son and then be talking about, oh, you don't understand how bad I'm hurting. Like, all right, motherfucker, if you're hurting so fucking bad, go get help and shut the fuck up. And that's what I told myself was like, if that's what you're gonna be and you're gonna say this that it hurt you so bad, then it
yeah.
hurt you and move the fuck on. And that was one of the things for me was like I didn't realize that until my wife was gonna leave. She took the
Yeah.
kids for 3 weeks. I'm sitting here all in this big ass house by myself and I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, this isn't the fucking life I want to live. And my actions
I
countered
learned
off me.
lesson. Yeah, I learned lessons the hard way though. You know, I'm hard headed.
Same.
Pain is the best teacher for me, man. I got to go to jail and lose shit before I start really learning lessons. You know, so
Now I get
that's
you
what I know.
100% there, brother. And I appreciate you for coming on. Where can people find you, man, if they want to keep up with you?
Tankersley_fit, man. It's the only social media I have. I started it right after Halloween. Uh, I was done with drinking, just got out of jail. So, like I said, it's my accountability tool, and I'm gonna expand, man. I'm just starting out, all gas, no brakes, you know. So
Hell yeah, brother. We'll send people there. Thank you again,
I
brother.
appreciate you guys, man. Appreciate you, man.